First, before I begin, I want to make sure that I thank somebody. I want to thank JJ. Where are you? Put your hand up. This speech flew across the field about 20 minutes ago, and JJ found 3 pages and brought it back to me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, JJ. Give him a round of applause. All right, we're not done there. We're not done there. Class of 2027. Class of 2027. That is unbelievable. When Dr. McCormick told me that the committee selected me to speak today at the freshman retreat, I truly was honored and humbled to speak to you. So I want to thank the campus ministry and the student leadership for this opportunity. And I'd also like to make sure that I understand that this is difficult for you. So I want to thank you in advance for listening up and taking these words that I've carefully selected to make sure that you understand that I mean every word that I'm about to speak. I haven't met all of you. And if you have me in class, you know I make sure that you know who I am, right? I share things about myself. I put myself out there. I become vulnerable, mainly because I want you to know that I am like you. I remember being like you as a prep student, and I care about you. So those of you that I don't have in class yet, I do teach juniors, so a couple of years away maybe, just thank you in advance. So quickly, thank the campus ministry and the leadership. Thank you. So my role at Prep has continually been evolving. And it kind of still is. I mean, right now, this is my first time doing this, so it's evolving right as we speak. First, I was a fan. Then I was a student, then a graduate, then a coach, and now a teacher, in that order. I'm a member of the English department, social studies department, primarily teaching freshman English and global studies. And I am the coach of the championship varsity team, hockey. Here we go. So, listen, the joke in my family is that I never really left prep, and it's kind of true. And I suppose this circuitous path that has led me back here to be a teacher and a coach, it puts me in a unique place to speak to you as freshmen, and how the growth experiences within the Fairfield Prep Brotherhood help us to become the people that we are meant to be. Let me just quickly break that down again, because that's our theme here. So how growth experiences within the Fairfield Prep Brotherhood help us to become who we are meant to be. Now, to do that, I just want to be clear what brotherhood is and what does growth mean. So, what do we mean when we say people grow through experiences? Conceptually, many people think of growth as a positive thing, though there is such thing as negative growth. To me, I define it as being the development of skills. It's personal growth. It's development of skills and self-awareness that enable a person to maximize their potential. At Fairfield Prep, you're all working on things like this, right? You're working on developing your skills and your self-awareness, whether it's socially or philosophically, academically, athletically, religiously. Every day you're doing this work. But when people speak about the concept of improvement, they typically do it in one fashion, and it's always shown on social media. It's the before and after pictures. Man, I can't stand that. It cuts out the best part. One of my favorite comedians says, "Why are there no during pictures?" Because growth is awkward. You're going to see it in a second. I'm going to show you my freshman ID. Similar to the physical growth pains that you've endured over the past few years, growth is strenuous. It's hard. It's difficult. Sometimes it can be downright brutal. However, we don't go to the gym to lift light weights. Earning the gains is hard. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Look at the image up here of Saquon Barkley. He's a freshman at Penn State. His DNA does not drive his physical growth here. It's his dedication to the process of enduring the challenges which helps him to grow physically and mentally tough enough to squat that much weight. That's growth. All right, so now that we got that, what's brotherhood? It's a word that's thrown around here a bunch, though I don't think I've ever heard anybody quite nail down the definition. So I'm going to give it a shot. The Brotherhood is the powerful bond that collectively connects Fairfield Prep students. It transcends race, creed, socioeconomic status, and lifestyle, and I dare say, even age. For years, friends and family have always asked me, what is it about Fairfield Prep that makes it so unique? Why do people stick with it? Why are people so connected? And I tell them this, it's the Brotherhood. I'm in touch with nearly between 20 and 30 people from my graduating class. Now, if you were to ask a social psychologist, they say that the maximum number of relationships that a person can maintain is 150. Do some quick math, and 22 years later, after leaving these halls as a student, about 20% of the relationships in my life, including my family, are people that I met at prep. It's wild, isn't it? Now, how does that happen? Well, if I had to guess, what I think happens is that we collectively make a decision. We decide to do something difficult together. We decide to come to Fairfield Prep. Then, as a group, we participate in meaningful traditions that define the prep experience. Singing the fight song, commuting on the train, attending masses, participating in retreats. We individually and collectively build an identity upon those traditions. We are prep, and prep is us. Now, if you recognize this value of the Brotherhood, it's that bond, the bond to one another and to your school. It will last a lifetime. Check out that guy. In the late 20th century, specifically 1997, my parents enrolled me in Fairfield Prep. I was a 14-year-old kid who a few years earlier had moved to Fairfield, Connecticut from New York, and I was still struggling to find my footing. I was not particularly good at a particularly good student, and honestly, I was pretty much only interested in playing hockey and meeting girls and having a laugh. As a middle child with two brothers, I walked into prep and immediately felt right at home. On its face, on the surface, it seems like prep was where I could make friends, play hockey, and have a good time. Perfect fit, right? It was everything I hoped it would be. Just like your first days on campus, mine were a blur, a whirlwind of introductions and asking for clarification. It was overwhelming in the best way possible. The classes were challenging, but the teachers were brilliant and quirky characters I kind of wanted to be around. I made more friends in the first week than I ever have since. It was a rush to come to school. It was the first time in my life that I ever felt that way, excited about getting up and coming to school. I vividly remember buying my first Fairfield Prep hat and proudly wearing it. The feeling of belonging was as palpable as attending the first football game and joining the bomb squad and leading our team to victory. As the days turned into weeks and weeks turned to months, I learned that Fairfield Prep had a depth to it that I didn't quite understand. And over the next 4 years, I had to suffer the growing pains of adapting through difficult times. Luckily, I wasn't alone, because beside me during those difficult times to pick me up were my brothers, and beside me to celebrate my successes were my brothers. When I came to prep, I was anything but an academic. I was disorganized, I struggled with reading, and despite my mediocre grades, I focused on making a joke to save face more than I did making the grade. Even when I did push to improve, it seemed like a futile gesture. My only inspiration was to survive academically enough to play hockey. In the 10th grade, I was diagnosed with dyslexia and attention issues. What a relief, right? Oh my goodness, what's my fault? Something's really wrong with me. It's a joke, I'm just kidding. But I felt that way, I really did. I felt like, well, maybe that explains it. What I didn't realize was that was the beginning of the real work. I had to work harder to get the same as others. That realization began a gradual process of becoming more self-aware and a conscientious student. I worked with a tutor, attended extra help sessions, and did all I could to show my teachers that I cared. It was not pretty, but I improved with the assistance of some of the most gracious people I've ever met. Father Peltier, Barry Wallace, and John Zabowitz, to name a few, teachers here at Prep. They lit an academic fire in me because they could see talent, or at least they made me feel like they did. And I appreciated it. And through these educational challenges, I gained a stronger sense of self, and I learned it's necessary to lean on mentors and the brothers around you when you need it the most. My sophomore year, I was gung-ho. Freshman year, I got cut from the hockey team. Now, I played JV my freshman year, and I was determined to make the squad the second year. And because I struggled to excel as a student, I based the majority of my identity around being a hockey player. After a great tryout, or what I thought was a great tryout, I was so confident I was on the team that I was already mentally picking the number that I was going to wear. When they read the list, I was astonished they did not call my name. It truly, truly rocked me to my core. I was devastated. I fell apart before my classmates, genuinely unable to wrap my mind around the coach's decision. In the days following, some of my best friends came to my rescue, calling to check in on me, distract me. The team captains even reached out and sympathized with my situation, feeling like I got a raw deal. It was a dark time in my young life. And just at the moment when I thought it was the darkest, I got a phone call from one of my best friends today, still friends. He was ecstatic. You know why? He made the JV team. While I'm here sulking, he's thrilled. We're going to be teammates. At that moment, I recall gaining clarity. I need to be grateful for the opportunity to play for the JV team, even if I didn't want to, because not everybody has the opportunity to play. That year, I played under a new head coach. His name was Matt Sather. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was a former captain at Prep and was the captain at Amherst, a heck of a player. Played with Chris Drury, somebody I looked up to from a young age. He gave me every opportunity to grow, and he pushed me to lead, and I became a better hockey player and a better person. Learning to accept that reality did not align with my perception was an excruciatingly emotional time. But from that experience, I grew mentally by learning to control that which I could. By the way, many of the guys that I was on JV with that year, we made the team the next year. And then we won the state championship my junior year and my senior year with head coach Matt Sather at the helm. Now, why am I mentioning all this, right? I'm mentioning it because getting cut from the hockey team my sophomore year was devastating, but upon reflection, it was one of the most important moments of my life. I chose to accept the challenge and grow through it. It was very hard. I'm not saying that it wasn't. You're going to have times like that. For me, it was brutal. The second half of my high school was glorious, but still fraught with challenging opportunities. I took on more of a leadership role in student government and continued to recommit myself to improving academically. In my junior and senior year, I realized I probably have the best friends that anyone could ever wish for. Nearly all of them are still in my life and have played critical roles in shaping me to the person I am today. They're godfathers. I'm their child's godfather. We're at each other's weddings, in each other's wedding parties. We go on vacations together. But those are the good times. What's true is that they had to hold me accountable when I faltered after I left these halls. They helped me piece together my life after losing my brother. They guided me through decisions professionally. I'm a teacher because one of my best friend's parents, a prep guy, offered me a substitute position while I was deciding between jobs on Wall Street. They knew it wasn't for me more than I did. I'm forever grateful. So, I'm selling you on a school that you already bought in on, right? No. I know you're here. What I am trying to do is sell you on an experience, one that is fraught and difficult and not easy. I implore you to challenge yourself and push beyond your comfort zone. Fight the resistance to maintain the status quo. Put yourself out there. Make new friends, especially people you typically wouldn't meet in your everyday life or before you came here. Try out for the play, join a club. And then when you find out that that club isn't for you, drop it and join another one. Go to a football game, make new friends, sit at a different lunch table and invite somebody to join yours. When things don't go your way, realize that you are at a critical juncture of your young life. If you notice someone in your class who's struggling or needs a kind word, what are you going to do? Here we say it's the brotherhood, but that's just talk. It's in those moments you have the opportunity to grow and help somebody else grow. I remember as a senior, I decided to go on Kairos, which is a retreat offered to juniors and seniors, despite being not a very dedicated Catholic. It was one of the most significant experiences of my life. Why? Mainly because I took a chance and I grew as a result, spiritually, ethically. I got to know people I only casually knew and sat next to in class. I offer my experience not because I want you to buy into prep, but I want you to buy into you. If I could do it all over again, man, I wish I could. I would have tried out for the baseball team. I'd have played rugby. I would have invested myself wholly in student government at an earlier time. I would have gone to Ecuador on an immersion trip with my friends who still go on their own independently on their own service mission trips, despite not being involved with the school. Along the way, it's those life experiences that will make you a more well-rounded and interesting person. It'll make you more a part of the brotherhood. I know I've spoken for a long time, so I want you to know one last thing. The adults in this room and in this school care greatly for you. They dedicate their life to it. We care about each and every one of you. So if you need help, please know that you're my brother. You're welcome in my room for lunch, before school, after school. It's B206. My goal in returning to prep is to be just like the teachers that I had mentioned before. I can't wait to see you all cross that stage in 3.5 years, wearing your white tuxedos, all grown up and taller than me. And when I shake your hand or give you a hug, I'm going to make sure that I ask you one question. What was the moment? What was the opportunity? What changed it all for you? What made you part of the brotherhood and made you a better person? Until then, gentlemen, it's up to you. Thank you.